Have you read the book Parable of the Sower, a science fiction book by Octavia Butler? It sets in a dystopian future where the US descended into chaos and violence, and where water costs several more times than gasoline. The main character, Lauren Oya Olamina, is an empath, a hyper empath. That means if someone gets shot near her, she will feel their pain, the same intensity. In the story, this is a liability. When Lauren feels someone else's pain, she's defenseless. She can't fight back while it's happening. But I couldn't stop thinking about that ability. Is it actually a weakness or a strength? What level of compassion can one have when you actually know how someone feels, when you can feel their pains and happiness? In a way, many of us today already live like Lauren. We see what's happening in the world and we feel deeply for those who are suffering. We grieve the loss of nature and in some places the clear sky we once had. Every day we wake up to more news that's hard to bear. We carry a sense of helplessness about climate change, wars, and other pressing issues. We can't seem to move past a world that feels like it's falling apart. So if you feel anxious about the state of the world today, this episode is for you. Hi, welcome to Progress Reimagined, a show that explores innovative ideas, technologies, and emerging economic models that put humanity and our planet first. I'm Kathleen Chu, your host. Today, I want to talk about something that many people are suffering quietly, which is anxiety, feeling anxious about the future, a sense of despair, a feeling that there's no way out. We're facing a public crisis, genocide in Gaza, continuing even after the ceasefire agreement, politicians serving wealthy donors rather than the people who elected them, a rise of fascism, and AI trained on artists' work without consent or pay. The list goes on, and we feel it. About 70% of adults said that they were anxious about the current events, the economy, politics, violence. Many of us wake up helpless, alone, and caught in the same cycle, asking, what can I do? And feeling that there's little we can do. I'm not here to downplay any of it. Seeing wars and genocide in the news and on social media can be traumatic, and I won't pretend otherwise. We're facing something difficult and real. But here's what I keep coming back to. What you pay attention to grows. As a former reporter, I know what kind of news gets covered. Money gets covered. Tragedy gets covered. The quiet, ordinary kindness, interaction between people never gets covered. It isn't considered newsworthy. And on social media, algorithm rewards outrage, not tenderness. So it's easy to mistake your feed as the world. I did too. But we need to take a step back. Two things can be true at the same time. The world is indeed in crisis. At the same time, everyday beauty and connection aren't simply captured. This matters because negativity can be tempting. It feels easy and makes us feel powerful, as if we clearly see what other people miss. However, dwelling on it only spread more negativity. Of course, toxic positivity isn't the answer either. Instead, we need more genuine and curious approach. I saw this recently in a community chat. So someone mentioned about how the people in one neighborhood are friendlier than another, but their comments was quickly shut down. The response was to stay positive and be supportive. While I understood the reason, I believe we overlooked an opportunity. I believe to approach with curiosity, instead of judgment, to ask why they felt that way and to learn from it. We spend so much energy naming what's wrong, and I wonder if it costs us the energy to imagine something new, something beautiful, something we want. Adrienne Maree Brown puts it beautifully in her book, Emergent Strategy. She said that we find ourselves living in someone else's imagination, in someone else's story. In story like racism, for example, a world that Trump wants to create. In that story, injustice becomes justifiable because it's their story, their belief, and their imagination. And we forgot that we can create our own. That's why I think art and creativity is so important, because without that creativity, that imagination, we lose the ability to picture a world where we want to be. Almost kind of like we lost our way to the future. And here's what gives me hope. More and more of us are reclaiming that imagination. Eckhart Tolle wrote in his book, A New Earth, about a growing awareness. More people waking up and wanting to do something about it. I wrote more about that book in a post. I'll link it in the show notes if you want to go have a look. So are you ready to take the first step with me? Here's what's helped me, and it falls into 3 buckets, I guess. Buckets, steps or bucket. First, quit the input. I left X about 2 years ago, and I stopped using LinkedIn. From long ago, I don't really use Facebook anymore, except stay in touch with my friends there. And it's been strange. My mind is peaceful. I don't feel the need to look at it. I'm on Blue Sky and Mastodon, but because they aren't built to be addictive, I don't feel that pull to stay. You don't have to create everything, of course, but just pay attention to what you're feeding and what's feeding you back. Second bucket, turn inward. Once you start taking care of the first bucket, try the second bucket, which is to turn inward. This is where spirituality comes in, or your religious belief. And I know the word spirituality can feel a little bit, ooh. I was skeptical about it too before I started meditate 6-7 years ago. But for me, it's come to mean something simple. Finding peace by staying in the present in a world built to keep you distracted. For me, that's listening to spiritual teaching by a teacher like Tara Braggs and practice meditation. I especially enjoy Boho Beautiful guided meditation. Also reading, making art, and exercise. Whether it's mindfulness, meditation, or simply stay grounded, the practice of turning inward is like giving space for your body to breathe, to rest, for your mind to take a break. So that's the second bucket. And then there's turning outward. People want to connect more than ever, and many of us just don't know where to start. Joining communities reminded me of that again, that I wasn't alone. And we become like people we spend most time with. So the rooms we choose to step in, may it be online or in-person gathering, quietly shape how we think. A few that have shaped me recently. The School of Radical Imagination, where people practice envisioning different futures by taking some very interesting online classes together, and the Wellbeing Economic Alliance, along with the work around donut economics, both reimagining what an economy is actually for. Find your rooms, join a class, try something that puts you a little out of your comfort zone. And last but not least, you can say many things about tech bros, but I learned this by working alongside people in technology. Their relentless, sometimes almost cringy optimism. I've come to think we need more of that. Not the naive kind, but the kind that genuinely believe that they can shape the future, and to have the willingness to roll up their sleeves and pursue it. The work is to find peace in your heart and take one step at a time toward the change you want to see, rather than staying in the dark, never getting up to look for a way out. So let me come back to Lauren Oya Olamina. In the novel, her ability, her empathy makes her vulnerable. Yet it's the very thing that let her understand others. She calls it biological humanity. Because of that deep sense of connection to humanity, she creates something new. She founds a new belief system, a way forward out of all that feeling. Maybe that's the lesson for us too. What looks like a weakness, feeling too much compassion for the world we're living today, might be exactly what's needed to build a future. And our compassion and shared anxiety perhaps provide a signal gently pushing us to a new path. Imagine if we have her gift, if we let ourselves truly feel how other people feel, and then use that feeling to build the world we actually want. What would that world look like? A yoga teacher once told me, change makes everything possible. So if change is the only constant, as we often hear, then the question isn't whether the current state of the world will change, it's whether we'll be the ones imagining that future and help shaping it. This is an ongoing effort, dialogue, and movement, and I'd love to continue the conversation. Connect with me on Substack or on Mastodon. Until next time.